let's just roll it. Let's just roll it and talk. Fuck it. Take a seat, Josh. Is the audio rolling?
No, not yet. An hour, 8 minutes on this. 45 minutes on this.
We'll just take a stab at it. If it sucks, it sucks. Make sure you sit. You have to, yeah, definitely face me though. All right, so photography.
Photography.
Yeah. Throughout our friendship, basically since we were kids, you were pretty much always the photographer.
Yeah.
Out of the two of us. Even out of our friend group, really. You were kind of always the photographer.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we were really little, maybe like 10 or so, I had bought this that mini DV camcorder.
Yeah.
We were filming little skate videos.
That little silver one.
Yeah, the little silver one. It was like a Sony or something like that. And we were shooting skate videos in the basement.
We brought that rail into your basement.
And it kind of all, we did a lot of stuff with that. And I was always trying to shoot stuff with it.
Didn't you have a webcam or something on your computer too?
Remember
that old white computer? There was like a cheap webcam that was on that.
Yep.
And we filmed
something in the
one
basement
of our
with that
first
too.
videos with that. Just fixed right on the, right on the computer. You can just see us grinding the rail.
But
that was fun.
And then, I got older, and I don't know. I think I actually fell out of. I had some friends at the time actually when we were shooting skate videos. They wouldn't like me to hold the camera when we'd shoot them because they said my hands were too shaky, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not cut out for this. so I kind of just like threw it to the background.
I never knew that.
Yeah, this was after I'd left Michigan, so I was living in Iowa at the time.
Don't give Josh the camera.
Yeah.
His handshake. He sucks.
Too shaky. So I've worked on that a lot.
Really,
I've always had that in the back of my mind. That
stay still. That's interesting.
Stay still, but then.
When did you start When do you think you started really caring about your photos though? Well, you know how people just snap a picture, they don't even care. People will just keep hitting on their phone. They'll just snap 30 of them just because just for the hell of it. But when you actually started composing a shot,
Well, I took so my buddy Josh Goodell, he at the time had started a photography program. In Iowa at Hawkeye Community College, and
cool.
So it kind of I saw what he was doing with that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And so I also was going to Hawkeye at that time. I was just taking a general education, 2-year liberal arts degree.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna sign up for a photography 101 class, because that's. I didn't know anything. I knew the camcorder I had was all auto. You just turn it on and just start shooting. And all I had at the time, I had just bought an iPhone 4, and I was like, well, I'm gonna take the class with this iPhone. And you know what? I wasn't the only one
your photos suck.
that had that mindset, but.
So you could just bring anything.
You could
bring whatever camera you got. You got a Kodak point and shoot. Bring it.
It was a 101 class, so it was pretty basic level stuff.
I didn't think you could adjust anything on the iPhone 4.
I think I had hacked the phone at the time. Remember, we used to jailbreak it.
That's right.
Which that was cool. Remember, we used to install Pokemon games on it.
Game Boy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had an app on there that I could shoot raw photos.
Oh, sick.
With the camera on it, and it let me adjust the ISO and the aperture, and not very well, but at least I could frame something up and then pick where I wanted something to be, and it would actually have some blurry background to it or whatever. And I was at the time I was really proud of some of the photos that I had submitted to that class. And,
if we can see some of those pictures,
oh yeah, I'll see if I can find
pull
them
up on a hard drive, throw them up, we'll see.
I have all my hard drives. I save everything, but
he never wants me to delete anything. Well, the hard drive we pulled from a project 2 years ago. Can I delete this? No, I don't know, buddy. It's true. That's funny. That's cool.
But then I bought a Canon T3i not long ago. I didn't use it in that class, but I bought that camera and I was so nervous. I think it cost me like $500 or $600.
Oh yeah.
Just with the kit lens.
The 18 to 55.
18 to 55. And I was just so happy, just trying to explore and learn manual settings on that, and like
That's a great camera.
It blew my mind. Switching from auto to manual, it was a big, it's a big step in any photographer.
Sure.
Like,
I think every photographer has had that camera.
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, the even bigger step after that was getting a fixed lens, a prime lens on there.
Yes.
So I bought a 50 millimeter, that one that with the loud motor.
Right.
That was my first, 50 millimeter lens. The second I took a photo at like f1.8, my mind was blown.
Oh, was that the one you dropped in Malibu?
No. That one's, I got a replacement for that one. That was the f1.4, but the 1.8 was the one that just like.
That's super old. You still have that lens?
Super old. No, I sold it to a guy in Tucson. Who said he wanted
your buddy. It's just so you know.
Well, he said he knew. He was like,
I don't care.
I don't care.
That's cool.
Yeah. Transitions. It just was like a
full frame, eventually full frame.
And then I moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
And oh man, I wanted a 5D so bad. 5D Mark III. It was like the hot camera.
Which you now have.
Which I now have.
Yeah. At like a third of the cost.
Yeah, and it cost at the time, whatever, $2,500 or something like that, or $3,000. And I was like, I can't. But they had the Canon 6D, which was like kind of new. And I think with the kit lens, it was only like $1,100.
Right.
Which still at the time, like I was trying to pay back student loans, and
I remember you got that camera. You bought that camera though. We started shooting a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Really, I remember all the photos, skate videos, and then short projects that Living It Up, the web series.
Yeah,
it really did open up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, going from crop sensor to the full frame, that was mind blowing for me.
For sure.
I don't know. I think a lot of photographers have that moment too. They put on a lens that they had on a crop sensor for so long, and then they're like, "Whoa, I got to take a couple steps forward now."
Corners I'm seeing now.
Yeah,
that is cool.
It was a lot, and then you and I started practicing with light.
Yeah, exactly. I had in the apartment.
I bought a Canon flash, like a 430 EX2 or something.
We had a little backdrop. We bring in that door. Like we bring in old doors from the street and bring them in. There was really great light though in that front room in that apartment.
And so we would practice with that light, and then at nighttime we would practice with the flash, and a lot of times we would practice with just like leaving everything dark and like just lighting it with our phone light or a flashlight.
That's kind of the amazing thing. You think about it, we've only been making films for like the past year and a half, 2 years, but really, we've almost been shooting stuff like our whole lives, almost low key, but we really have been toiling with cameras and stuff for a long time.
Well, I think at that same time you bought a Canon 70.
I did.
And you started,
started shooting. That's true. I did start shooting stuff, but it's funny because I never considered myself like a photographer ever.
Yeah. I
just always thought, it's like, I have to I'm the actor of the group or whatever, or writing stuff. So and I guess I was always, I'd shoot little videos of like family stuff, And then that bike trip I did, on stuff on the phone, just cut stuff together. I always like to edit things.
Yeah.
And that was always fun. But then...
you were always the editor.
Every
time we'd sit down to do Living It Up, I would pull up a chair next to you.
That's true.
I would cut it together, but you had controls.
That's true. But taking it a step further to actually start shooting stuff, to film or take photographs and stuff, I was only just last year, a year and a half ago, with that GH5.
Yeah.
Because then it was I really just started filming, because it was COVID, we're all indoors. I was I should be filming something. I think because you were in Tucson, so you had the camera, the Canon.
The Canon, yeah.
I think the R, right? You sold the 60 and you got the R.
Yeah.
So it was I need a camera to shoot stuff here at the house. So it's I bought the GH5, and then slowly I would take some pictures of Mandy, and just things around town, and they weren't great, but it just was more. It was so much fun, and I was editing all the digital shots on Apple's whatever standard editing platform they have, dude. And then when you gave me that copy of Lightroom, it was Holy shit.
I think you were still editing in JPEG too, and I kept saying...
I was editing in JPEG.
I kept saying, shoot RAW.
I know, you were so right, dude. And then with RAW, I was like, oh my God.
I can do so much to this photo.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And it just kept growing from there, man. Now, just like shooting, but I've watched you. I've learned a lot from you, and even Dan Queso. Because I bought this camera from him, that 35 millimeter from him, and dude, he's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Little bits of information just about how to shoot, or his philosophy of shooting, your philosophy. So all those things combined now.
Well, the thing is, I've learned from you already.
Right.
Almost not to take things too seriously was my big learning lesson from you.
Yeah.
Because you have an approach with photography that's very like organic. It's just like you take a shot and you don't mind if there's grain to it. You don't even mind if it's a noisy shot. You know what I mean? Where I grew up with the mantra, like it was ingrained in me that like if I shot this at ISO 6200 and there was noise everywhere, like just throw it out, chuck it out.
Clean, has to be clean.
It has to be clean, a clean image. And so you really helped me in changing my mindset on that. Like I was like, oh well, it doesn't have to be perfectly clean.
It's a mood,
It can be a mood.
That's it for sure.
And you can do both. You can have both.
Well, like you said the other day, we were talking about like you want to film something. It's like different photos fit different styles of whatever the subject is. Yeah. Like I took some pictures of that model on my phone the other day in that space, and that's all I had on me was the phone. I didn't have the other camera, so whatever, you can use the phone. But the way the phone shoots photos, it's so clean, and it's a little bit wide because it's a wider lens that's on there, so everything's kind of a little, bubbled out. But that particular shot, her and her outfit against that clean white wall and like that green bench, super clean. It looks so good. And I had taken photos later with the 5D when she was outside with like some killer morning sunlight that was coming onto her. And those photos are cool too, but they're two different vibes completely, And I almost think that the shot on the phone was more high fashion, like more art, like something you could see in a magazine right away. Whereas the other shots are like very stylistic, film grain, analog, vibe. So, what we were talking about the other day, it's like you can shoot different ways to fit different moods. Like that guy who wanted me to shoot headshots for him. He was like, oh no, it's not gonna, your style doesn't match what I want. It's like, well, just show me what you want. Yeah. I can shoot whatever you're looking for, because we're versatile photographers. I know we can do that. Yeah. So it's like, but I think people get fixed in their mind like, no, I need to find someone who can shoot just like that. And I get that, but everyone's a photographer. You can be flexible.
Right. Well, I think the versatility of it all. We talked about that last night, and like how brands might want a certain image, a certain look. They have in mind, and it's got to be clean, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be this, and then other brands might not care so much about that. Yeah. And then I was thinking in my head like, should we be pitching ourselves to just one set of brand because that's our style? It's like, well, no, let's adapt ourselves. Yeah. If we can have a cleaner look for this, then why not? Like, who cares?
Well, you're right too. The same way though, like when we were doing a lot of film projects, I was always telling you, dude, let's add some grain.
Let's add grain.
Add grain. And now I'll shoot things and film stuff, and when I'm editing them, I'll realize like, oh, the grain looks terrible. Like it makes the photo or the it looks terrible, like just no grain at all. And then sometimes there's instances where like, oh, the grain looks awesome, So it's like, I understand now. So you can't just add grain to everything. Yeah. Now it's different like when you're shooting film, and that's the cool thing about shooting film stock is that each film stock has its own type of grain to it, and you're not going to artificially add really any of those things to that, because that's the whole beauty of shooting that particular film stock. Yeah. And dude, shooting film is like a whole other...
Well, you got me into film in a way because I'd always dreamed of shooting film, and I was a little intimidated by it. Yeah. But then you bought this, right? This
right.
And I went and tried to buy that Canon AE1 shortly after that because I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Dude,
like, he's already shooting film. And it wasn't working or whatever. I had to bring it back to him. And then I also bought the exact same camera, that Minolta.
Dude, well, it was Dan Queso.
Yeah.
he just made it seem so effortless. Like when I bought it from him, he's like, "Oh yeah," it already came with like 2 or 3 expired rolls. He showed me how to load it, and then the other side of it was just finding a place to develop it,
right?
And granted, I mean, I made some mistakes. I think the first roll I bought of this, I fucked it up, and it totally, like, I didn't rewind it all the way, so when I pulled it out, half of it was exposed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck, that was a complete waste of money. I think I turned in another roll, and that came out all fucked up and, blurry. But the beauty of the film was just learning, dude, you learn so much more about light. Those manual controls that you take for granted on the digital camera, because it shows you the meter, right. Everything's lined up. There. I mean, and there's light meters in film cameras, yeah, but dude, like really understanding like Sunny 16 rule and just knowing, like you can look at a situation and know, okay, that's like, 125 shutter speed, f5.6,
yeah,
like film speed 100. Like I can guess now pretty well like what situations to do that with. And then when you're on the fly and you're shooting, you can easily manipulate, whatever surroundings you have. So it's like you cracked the code to lighting. It's dude, I love it. I mean, shooting film is so much fun, and the look of it, like, and especially going from 35 millimeter to medium format, dude, it's just large, like what you were saying, going from crop sensor to, full frame.
Yeah.
Dude, and on film, blows your mind.
Yeah, full frame to even bigger full frame. It's just, double the size.
It's insane, dude. I love it.
But yeah, falling back into the grain, I think we were just talking about it because you had said Queso says that, Portra 800, he likes it better than 400.
Yeah.
It's like, I agree, but it's also what the look you're going for. I
true.
really think Portra 400 looks more like almost digital.
Yeah.
It's almost like the grain's so smooth.
Right.
800, you got a little more texture to it.
Texture, yeah.
But then
it's probably because of the darkness, right? This kind of more low light situations.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really depends on. Dude, well, that's what I really like about shooting film, is because, dude, you have to be so involved in every step of the process. The film stock you buy, the way you shoot it, composing shots, shooting, and then after that, the development process. Like, if you're not doing it yourself, you really got to find a place you like to develop it, and they do a good job. And then when you're done developing, are you going to pay them to scan it for you? And you don't know what kind of scanners they have.
Right.
And whatever you're paying for, you're kind of stuck with that image. So if you buy your own scanner, you start scanning the footage here. It's like, okay, how shitty or how good is your scanner?
Yep.
Because I had bought that cheap little Kodak scanner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it's like $100-something on Amazon and you just put the strips right into it.
Yep.
Dude, and I would look at my Portra 400 shots, and then you would show me your scans that you got back from the lab. Dude, and yours looked so clean. Everything looked so vibrant and clean, and mine were all like kind of like muddled and sort of gray. And I mean, they still look cool and moody, but they just did not pop the way yours were. And I realized it's because I'm using that cheap, shitty Kodak scanner, And now that I have, the Epson V600, I think?
Yeah.
And dude, now I put it, like, I'll shoot new rolls of 35 millimeter medium format, put it in there, and I use Negative Lab Pro with Lightroom. Dude, you flip that shit, it looks incredible. Yeah. And now those 50, 60 rolls of 35 millimeter I shot before I bought that scanner, I have to go through every one and rescan them because it's night and day.
Yeah,
it's night and day. And all those shitty shots, they probably look incredible.
Yeah,
with a good scanner.
Yeah.
And that's, it's like every step of the process with film. And that's why I love that Ansel Adams book you bought me, because it just talks about knowing the camera, knowing the development process, and then knowing, like, the prints, like printing your work and sharing it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really cool.
But yeah, well, photography, it's funny because I always say photography helped transition to like doing more video work. But we were doing video work even before photography. Before we were shooting. So I didn't really think about that until the other day. But photography helped us learn how to be better cinematographers.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. This is what we can practice with all the time.
Yeah.
Like, low key, and then use those same principles to go shoot.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been thinking that exact thing because Instagram and all that shit's changing over to video. Like, I realize everything is shifting to video. So it's like, anytime I've taken the camera and I've done a series of photos and I'm thinking, oh, this is a sick series, it's like I really should have set up a camera and been filming all this too.
Right.
And what's the difference? I can set up a cinema camera, have the same exact settings, and just let it roll. Compose the same exact shot.
Yeah.
And let the camera roll and then act. Act in front of the camera. Get the same, and then you have both mediums. Now, granted, that the downside is that it's all that work.
Yeah, it's
like,
extra effort involved. You just want to take your camera out and take a picture.
I know, and that's the beauty of it.
I have to
but
think twice.
Now it's like, I got to get the lens, I got to get the battery, I got to set it up on the tripod, do all that shit, and it's like, it becomes, and that's when I think people go like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. But it's really, and like lately though, anytime I want to take my camera and go shoot a photo, I'm thinking I should not do that. I should bring the cinema camera instead.
Sure.
Do the same exact thing with a cinema camera.
Yeah.
And it is really helpful.
Well, you could also think about ways to, how can you transition those photographs into being, a movie almost.
Right.
So like, I mean, that's a big thing with all the reels that's trending on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see people turning their photographs and lining it up with music or different ways like that. But the way I've always done that was time lapses. That was a way of me turning photographs into a movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like now you've taken thousands of photos and you can turn it into a motion picture, literally.
Yeah. Or even I see stills from films.
Yeah.
They have the text or the quotes underneath them.
Yeah.
From the lines, and it just shows you the play-by-play of what that shot looked like with what lines.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, those are all just photographs.
Yeah.
Like, when you could just take those same pictures and just add text to it and create like a little slide of, that movie.
Yeah.
And it's you've told me that many times. I mean, it's all just photographs. They're just moving pictures.
Yeah,
it's all just light, moving light.
24 frames per second. But
it's amazing.
But it's like you look at Instagram and I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be a picture platform.
Sure.
And it's like, but it is like, it does. And I have my qualms in Instagram. I think that they restrict your creativity, but they also in different ways open it up. Like it's like,
features.
Here's me to say like, I can now, what can I do to make these photographs into a movie? What can I do to try to stand out?
I think it's like, it helps you just get yourself out there too.
Right.
There's like when I was selling prints the other day, like I knew that when you share a flyer, sure, that's one thing. You post it in your feed and people will interact with it or whatever. But then it's like, okay, you want people to come to the show. It's like, film a video of yourself talking, showing, what prints you have. Like, that's another element that's just going to draw more people in.
Yeah.
You could do it a step further. Do a montage of like all the things you have for sale, or show you making a frame or framing one of your pictures and put, you know what I mean? Like, do all that stuff. And it is, so it's just more and more opportunity. It's like,
like how did they frame this photo? How did he frame this?
Right.
Or even how did he take it?
All within 30 seconds.
I did a bunch of reels right off the get-go, which didn't do well, but that's a whole other conversation. But it was like, what I see versus what my camera sees.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I like that. The reality versus the Instagram.
And like
photo.
that's a cool way to transition, show it's video and photos, right?
Right.
So, but
this is interesting.
Trying to have an open mind about it.
It's good. I mean, we have to just keep sharing stuff. I mean, that's really the consistency of it, and just it's a machine.
Yeah.
People just go log on and they just want to see stuff. What can you do? It's like, so if you don't post, then Instagram knows, or the algorithms of whatever platform you're using knows you're not posting.
Yep.
So it's not prioritizing your stuff in their other people's feeds. Then when you start posting again, it's like, if you're not consistent, you have to. It's going to take a long time.
You've been growing a lot just in the last 6 months to a year.
The last 6 months,
really like grown significantly.
Yeah, man, just sharing.
Tried to use everything that you
Well,
have.
and I think like what we talked about. I would share some photos here and there, and they didn't do great. But now it's like, just posting every day. Photos when we go out and shoot, like me, you, Dan, or whatever friends we go out with, like those are valuable moments to get good content, and I think people probably see that feed and they're like, how are these guys getting all these pictures? Like, are there always, because we're always going out and shooting stuff, and you have to.
Well, you think in one session you're gonna take 50, 60 photos, and you're gonna end up with 10, 15 keepers right there. Right. That's 10, 15 posts.
That's gonna. And you have to do that. I mean, in the way the market is now, everything has to be new. It's like you know, whatever you post, the next thing you post has to somehow top, you know, that, or like in the feed aesthetically, it all has to sort of, you know, have some kind of like scheme to it that's appealing, you know, or something. And it is cool because, like, I guess by you doing that, you sort of develop your style. Like, you kind of see, like, oh, that's cool. Like, this is how my photographic style is, like, shaping almost. Like, you know, and now I'll even take photos some days where, like, I'll look at the picture and I just instantly go, dude, that's a shit photo. That's what am I thinking? Like I'll be editing it for, you know, 20 minutes or something, then like midway through I go, this photo sucks. Like, just chuck it out. Chuck it, you know. And I know because the pictures I know that are good, when I see them or when I get the development back or whatever, and I just like, we call them pants shitters, you know. Oh yeah, Dan Queso. Yeah, we just go. You go. Oh, like Dan will show me a picture of something he took, and I go, oh, dude, I just shit my pants. Like, that's a good photo, you know. So pictures that get that response out of me, that you see and you go, oh shit. Yeah. That's how I know it's a good photo. Yeah. When I see pictures, I just like, yeah, that's cool. But no, it's not. You know, it's interesting how it has grown. You know, and I love it. I mean, I love that we all know how to shoot. Stuff, because I think it helps all of us. Yeah. You know, whenever we have a new project or something we want to do, or we want criticism, or we want to do like when Dan comes over and we do those drink photography setups and stuff in here, all of us can contribute to like, totally. You know, like, where does that light go, or what should we do here? Like, what's missing here? Yeah. You know, and I love having that brain trust, you know, of friends to go shoot. And like, we can just roll up to Santa Monica, any place in town, and just shoot photos. Yeah. And like have a good time. And experiment.
And you know what? Yeah, I love that you guys do that, because I used to do that back in Iowa with Josh. Yeah. And then here, like, now we're here, we're doing that, and it makes me so happy to go out there and I get to shoot with you guys, because it's like, oh, like, we're just like, and we'll all take. It's funny because sometimes we'll all take the same photo, but just slightly different. Yeah. And it's just your own perspective. It's how you saw that image. And it's cool. It's cool to see that. You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how, like, yeah, it's so true. Everyone's eye is just just different. Just slightly. You know, just slightly different, and you can tell. Yeah. Like everyone's style.
Like that peso. We took it from two different angles.
That's true. That's
right
true.
There, you were front on. I just wanted that. That's all I wanted. Was the peso. But then also, when we were trying to do those the long exposure shots in Santa Monica too, and we all had a similar shot, but a different look to each shot. Look, yeah. So it was,
I mean, we're all shooting on similar cameras too.
We are, yeah.
I think
for the most part, yeah.
I can't imagine the Mark. Well, what's the difference between the Mark III and the 5D Classic?
Just more options in the settings menu. And I mean, it's
the sensor's got
updated sensor. Yeah.
Updated sensor, yeah. But relatively, the colors. Yeah. I mean, maybe different lenses we're using. I usually shoot on those old lenses I have.
Yeah, Dan and I are shooting on more
kind of more modern,
lenses,
quicker lenses, but still, I mean, it's interesting, man. I mean, I'm happy. I'm glad that we're all. You know, we've, you know, with Bara and Dan and you know, Nanichi, a lot of our other friends that we've, you know, worked with over the years, it's like, it's good to see that we have a, you know, community.
Yeah, and I like that.
Photographers, you know, filmmakers that we're all working with, and it's helpful to understand lighting. I mean, that's the biggest thing too, just to know lighting better.
And not be, you know, like, I'm pretty sure photography, especially, like a lot of photographers, they compete with each other.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean. You're not going to want to give up that secret spot that you went to.
Oh, yeah.
So sick,
you know, that is like, so funny you bring that up, because people will message me on Instagram on a particular photo, and they'll go, oh, bro, I love that shot. Like, what were your settings like for that shot, or what film did you use? Dude, and I'm always game to, like, share and tell them, oh, dude, that was Portrait 800. I shot, or Cinestill 800. I shot that at, you know, whatever. I don't know, 250 shutter speed, all wide open, 2.8, whatever. You know, and it's like... And then they get that information, and then they write me back, and they go, dude, thank you so much for sharing that. And they always say, most photographers are assholes. Yeah. And they tell me, like, oh, go figure it out yourself. And I'm like, what's the point of doing that? Right. Like, to me, that just shows that you're, for one thing, you're like, you're clutching onto whatever your art is that, dude, I mean, anybody could go out and, you know... The settings don't matter. It's your eye. Yeah. It's how you compose something, you know? It's like what you said with that girl when I was selling those prints, and the girl was like, oh, I could take that picture, and then she walked away. Yeah. And it's like, yes, you could take that photo, and it's such a good lesson, because, yeah, you could take that picture, but did you take that photo? No. Did you go get it developed? Are you here? Did you print it? Did you frame it? Are you selling it now? No, you're not.
No.
So you're not going to go get that photo. And that's the same principle. You could tell someone the settings, but are they actually going to go out to that spot
and take the photo?
Find that model that same time of day, match those settings up, take that photo, take the time. No, they're not going to. So it's like, why hold on to that shit and keep it so near and dear to your heart when it's like, dude, just be like, be an artist, share people, inspire other people with your work,
right? Because,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, you only grow as an artist when you have other people to grow with. Right. I think. I mean,
dude, we wouldn't have grown as photographers or filmmakers if we were like,
I don't think so at all.
Butting heads all the time, or like, oh, Josh, how did you shoot that? And you go, figure it out for yourself.
Well, no, it's
we're always working together.
That's not that we haven't butted heads. You know, we butt heads.
No, we butt heads all the time.
You know, and there'll be an awkward silence moment afterwards. But it's like, yes. But that's, you know, we've been friends for over 20 years. It's like that's not. It's not like we're walking away from that and we hate each other.
Of course not. No, of course not.
But no, there's never been a moment where it's like, you know, there's been so many times where you're. Just yesterday, you were talking about, you know, stitching images together to make either panoramic photos or anything like that.
Dan Queso was telling me about that.
And I was like, well, yeah, like I've done that. Like let's do it. Let's do it together. Why wouldn't I want to show you that?
For sure.
Why wouldn't Dan want to show you that?
Sure.
You know, and
For sure.
And he does. You know. Yeah.
Well, even like when we come over and set shots up, like, because Dan will want to shoot drinks here, and you know we'll set it all up, and he's basically the main shooter on the stuff. You know, I'll maybe set up another flash just so I can get some shots that I could use. But dude, I love helping set up the lights and letting him shoot. Yeah. You know, because for one thing, I'm learning about lighting. Yeah. You know, he's getting a great photo, and you know we work together. It's cool. You know, I'm not thinking, oh fuck him. He's getting all the damn pictures. What the hell? You know, ridiculous. No, I mean he's my friend. I want to. And when he shows me that picture, I go, oh dude, that's sick.
Shake your pants.
That's a pants shitter right there. That's a pants shitter. You know, I'm all for using people's talents, you know, in the moment. You know what I mean? Like I was writing articles for the newspaper. And I need photos for all that stuff. So I was inviting Dan to come and take the pictures. So it's like, dude, of course I want to use his photos, and that way I can focus on writing the article, interviewing other people. I know he's a talented photographer. You know what I mean? It's like that stuff. It's when we make films. You know, you're a great DP. I know I trust all the things you do. When we're shooting something and I don't have a shot in mind or something like that, I just like, dude, you set it up. You know, whatever you think. Like I know it's gonna look good. You know, I just know that because we have that rapport. Yeah. You know. And that's important. And that's really cool about that film lighting book that I was reading. Is they were saying that cinematographers and that's such a symbiotic relationship.
Well, we just got to practice film lighting today. You know, we set up a 3-point lighting. You know, and you know we don't usually do that.
No,
honestly,
we don't.
We usually have maybe 2 lights or a light and a couple practicals.
Yeah.
But like we went with the studio setup. And I think it was good. It's a good opportunity for us to practice and learn and grow. And
that's right.
You know,
that's all it is, man. So we're very lucky.
But yeah, I don't know if we should, what are we at?
Should we do just
30 minutes
Oh,
now?
God, we're done. We're done. All right. Well, listen, this was fun.
Yeah. You know, this is a good, like, Doyen Podcast. We should.
We could just keep this going.
We'll keep
keep talking about other things.
Doyen Podcast, episode 1.
That's right. We don't even need the podcast. Well, I guess we have the audio.
Yeah, we got
the audio. I could just take the audio and upload it onto Spotify or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. All right. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Done deal. That was good. That'd be fun. Whole thing's out of focus.